What's up, guys? JDB Sports here for your Saturday edition of the AFC North edition today. We're doing the AFC North today. We'll do the South next week, but let's get ahead and get this thing started. Obviously myself, Alex, like usual, Peyton here as well. All right, so we got some breaking news. We're still waiting on the final figures for deals with no cash presented in what we got here. So, according to Spotrac, this is up-to-date information. Defensive end Marcus Davenport signed a 1-year, $4.75 million extension with Detroit. Defensive tackle Chris Williams signed. Well, he was assigned a 1-year tender. 1-year tender with the Chicago Bears. Excuse my reading. Long snapper Reed Ferguson signed a 4-year contract extension with Buffalo. He's one that we don't have the figures for. Hollywood Brown signed a 1-year, $11 million contract extension with the Kansas City Chiefs. Gesicki with the Bengals. He's back with the Bengals on a 3-year, $25.5 million contract extension. Greg Rousseau, defensive end for the Bills, is back on a 4-year, $80 million contract extension with the Bills, obviously, like I just said. Gus Edwards was released by the Los Angeles Chargers, creating $3.125 million in cap. Geno Smith was traded to Las Vegas from Seattle for a 2025 third-round pick, number 92. All right. Ezekiel Turner, linebacker, signed a 1-year contract extension with the Detroit Lions. Levante David, I had questions about him, kind of losing a step in his older age, but linebacker Levante David signed a 1-year, $10 million contract extension with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All right, cornerback Trey Tomlinson claimed off waivers by San Francisco. We're looking at defensive tackle Tamari Fox, waived by Las Vegas. Linebacker Anthony Pittman signed a 1-year contract extension with Detroit. Again, we don't have those numbers yet. Safety Joey Blunt signed a 2-year contract extension with Arizona. Long snapper Aaron Brewer signed a 1-year contract extension with Arizona as well. Outside linebacker Harold Landry, released by Tennessee, creating $10.95 million in cap space. And obviously, this one, I'm not going to say hurts, but defensive tackle Jonathan Allen was released by the Commanders, creating $16.35 million in cap space. Yeah, see what he signs on with. I heard the Eagles might be looking to take a flyer, maybe. But then again, we'll see what they do. Al-Shaair, inside linebacker, converted $7.35 million of his 2025 salary into a signing bonus, adding 1 void year, creating $6 million in cap for Houston. You'd like to see it. Tight end Tanner Hudson signed a 1-year contract extension with Cincinnati. Guard Cade Mays assigned a 1-year, $3.263 million original round tender by Carolina. Outside linebacker Derek Barnes. Sorry, we'll get through this. Outside linebacker Derek Barnes signed a 3-year, $25 million. That looks just like the Gesicki contract, anyways. Signed a 3-year, $25.5 million contract extension with Detroit Lions. Inside linebacker Terrell Bernard signed a 4-year, $50 million contract extension with Buffalo. Bobby Wagner is back with the Commanders on a 1-year, $9.5 million contract extension. Love to see it. Obviously with Bobby Wagner, we kind of look at him like, his sideline to sideline speed isn't, what he's here for. He's here to mentor, and he's here for the blitz. He's really good at getting home too, it seems like, and a really solid tackler too. So, cornerback Ronald Darby released by Jacksonville, creating $2.44 million in cap for them. Wide receiver Josh Reynolds released by Jacksonville, creating another $4 million in cap. Tight end Evan Ingram released by Jacksonville, creating another $6 million in cap. They're just getting more cap for them. And also Devin Duvernay was also released, creating $132,000 in cap. Liam McCullough signed a 4-year contract extension with Atlanta. That we're going back to the 6th, so we're just getting you guys up to date from what was here on last Saturday. So Christian Kirk was traded to the Houston Texans from Jacksonville for a 2026 seventh round pick. And also Raekwon Davis, released by Indianapolis, creating 6.49 in cap, 6.49 mil in cap. Josh Blackwell signed a contract extension with the Chicago Bears. Didn't really say what and how long or for how much. Kurt Hinish signed a one-year contract extension with Houston. Sam Martin, punter, was released from Buffalo, creating 2.085 mil in cap. Josh Joby signed a contract extension with Seattle. Zane Gonzalez re-signed with Washington for 1 year. I mean, it's good to at least have him back. I mean, I'm kind of shaky when it comes to him over 50 yards, but we'll see. Theo Jackson signed a 2-year, $12 million contract extension with Minnesota. I'm not gonna butcher this, but Amen, outside linebacker, he signed a 2-year, $5 million contract extension with Chicago. Big O last name. You know what I'm talking about? Big O, yeah. Tutu Atwell signed a 1-year, $10 million contract with Los Angeles. Mitch Morse. Okay, so we're almost done here. Mitch Morse retired from professional football. Cole Holcomb renegotiated his contract with Pittsburgh. Don't really have the details too much on that one, but we'll go ahead and say Durham Smythe signed a 1-year contract with Chicago. Deshaun Watson converted 44.7 mil of his 2025 salary into signing bonus, adding 1 void year and creating 35.796 of cap for Cleveland. At least he was willing to really help him out. Eric McCoy converted 8.3 mil of his 2025 salary and a $500,000 roster bonus into signing bonus, adding 1 void year and creating 7 mil in cap for New Orleans. Joey Bosa has been released by the Chargers, creating 25 mil in extra cap space for them. Brian Allen, center, retired from professional football. Trey Tomlinson waived by the Los Angeles Rams. Zach Martin, guard, retired from professional football. Hate to see it. I mean, he's getting up there in age and all that stuff, but, you know, he would have been a touted guard, in my opinion, right? How do you feel about that one? Right. All right, 1 second. All right, we'll go ahead and continue with Bradley Chubb agreed to renegotiate a contract for the 2025 season with Miami. Awesome. Love to see it. Casey Kreitler, long snapper, signed a 1-year, $1.42 million contract extension with the New York Giants. Zach Bond signed a 3-year, $51 million contract with the Philadelphia Eagles. Dak Prescott converted $45.75 million of his 2025 salary into a signing bonus, creating 36 mil in cap for Dallas. At least to help them out and get some extra players outside of CD and basically fill the void of Zach Martin leaving too. So Max Crosby, defensive end, signed a 3-year, $106 million contract with Las Vegas, making him the highest non-paid quarterback, I believe. Alex Kappa signed a 2-year, $11 million contract with Las Vegas after being released. Here's another big O last name, Dare Ogunbowale. There you go. Signed a 1-year, $1.2 million contract extension with Houston. Tyler Lockett was released by Seattle, giving them 17 mil in cap space. Sam Hubbard retired from professional football. Joe Thuney traded to Chicago from Kansas City for a 2026 4th-round pick. Nico Collins converted $12.33 million of his 2025 salary into a signing bonus, adding 2 void years, clearing about 10 mil in cap for Houston. So it's good. Jamal Williams was released by New Orleans, clearing 1.59 in cap. Brandon McManus signed a 3-year, $15 million contract extension with Green Bay. Chris Godwin signed a 1-year, $1.42 million contract extension with Dallas. I said it's Chris Goodwin. CJ Goodwin. My bad. Yeah, yeah, shush. You got my things right there too. So Saquon Barkley, running back, signed a 2-year, 41.2 million dollar contract extension with Philadelphia. And you said you had some choice words for that one, saying that they kind of overpaid for him, right? At the time.
They took care of him. Don't get me wrong. I just think he could have saved a little bit more money. But that's nitpicking. He did win the rest. So
Right. All right. So we also got Draymond Jones released by Seattle, clearing 11.5 million cap, and then we got George Fant released by Seattle, clearing 8.3 million cap. Don't worry, guys. We're almost done here. It's a little busy day. Busy week actually so far. We'll be covering free agency next Saturday too as well. We'll do the more notable signings instead of going over the bottom of the barrel signings that we don't care about, but we'll see. Um, Go ahead and get Rayshon Jenkins released by Seattle, clearing another 5 million cap. Roy Robertson Harris released by Seattle, clearing 6 million cap. CeeDee Lamb converted 25 mil of his 2025 signing bonus, salary into signing bonus, clearing 20 million cap for Dallas. Devontae Adams was released by the New York Jets, clearing $29.9 million in cap. Jonah Jackson was traded from Chicago to Los Angeles Rams for a 2025 sixth-round pick.
said it's Chicago to the Rams.
Yeah, it's backwards. Traded to Okay. Die. Oh, man. All right, there's a couple more left here. Osa signed a 4-year, $80 million contract extension to stay with Dallas, so he's off the market. Blake Lynch, linebacker, signed a contract with Kansas City. Devontae Turpin signed a 1-year, $5 million second-round tender with Dallas. T. Higgins obviously offered the franchise tag for 1 year, $26.1 million. If you guys were under a rock, if not, just covering all the bases here. Isaiah McDuffie signed a 2-year, $8 million contract with Green Bay. And then obviously Alex Kappa was released by Cincinnati, where he got picked up on another contract. So that cleared $8 million cap for Cincinnati, which they in turn kind of used to pay Mike Gesicki. So that's all the news that we have for right now. Let me go ahead and give it a refresh and see if we have anything else. No, that's about it. Yeah, I also heard about the whole Sam Darnold. They're looking to get, depending if he comes back, they're looking to trade JJ McCarthy. I'm just like, are you serious? They just drafted him, and you tell me they're going to trade him just cause if Sam Darnold comes back? I think I'd rather have JJ and develop him. I don't know what they're thinking over there. And it's got to be a straight rumor. There's no way that they're dumb enough to do something like that. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think Sam Darnold is the long term answer there. I feel like you drafted JJ McCarthy. I feel like you go for it and stick with him. Sam Darnold was always just supposed to be that bridge gap until JJ came back. Because remember, he did hurt himself early, or he got hurt early. I'm not gonna say he hurt himself because it makes him sound crazy. All right, so let's get on with the Browns. All right, first in the AFC North division. 12.55 million cap space. Team needs, in my opinion, are quarterback / backup, depending if Jameis Winston comes back, and if Joe Flacco comes back too. Honestly, I feel like. All right then, my bad. Shoot, all right. Yeah, that was the year before, right? Joe Flacco. Okay, yeah, because he's lighting it up. All right. Anyways, quarterback and backup. DTR, I don't think is the answer. They're definitely gonna need to find somebody better. Maybe they pick up a Marcus Mariota from Washington, or look at another backup quarterback, but I feel like they should just get Jameis Winston back. I feel like that was my biggest thing. Re-sign him. Potential signings I have are trade Myles Garrett to a team like the Commanders or the Patriots, saving 19.7 mil in cap if the tradie eats the whole contract like we were talking about before. Re-sign Jameis, maybe Daniel Jones on a friendly deal, but then like you said, if the rumors vie true, then he'll be starting in Minnesota. So we'll see. Keenan Allen might be a good pickup on a friendly deal, in my opinion. I like Najee Harris here as well. He's slated to average 7 to 12 mil per year. And lastly, pick up linebacker Tyrell Dodson, slated to get 4 million. It's basically cap friendly purchases. To get some needs filled, and then see what goes on in the draft. I think their biggest free agents are Jameis Winston, Nick Chubb, and Deontay Foreman. So, what do you think about what do you got going on for the Browns, man? What's up?
I think their quarterback room is definitely the worst in the league. I mean, the Giants are fighting toe to toe in regards to that. Even though Tommy DeVito is also back with the Giants, not much news to break there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think key free agents. Again, Nick Chubb did not look solid last year. I'll list him as a key free agent. Jedrick Wills spent half the year starting running out. Got banged up. Uncharacteristic year for him. I do think he has some solid years left. He is younger. And then Jameis Winston, of course. As you look at that quarterback room with Sean Watson, Bailey Zappi, and DTR, and it's just horrible. It's horrible. So I like the Najee Harris pick that you went with. I'll go with AJ Dillon, actually. Someone who was in Green Bay this past year, but got injured at the start of the year and didn't get much run. But I think a bigger back to complement the likes of Jerome would be nice. And then I think they take a flyer on quarterback. I think they go young in everything, and they take a shot in the dark. Zach Wilson and Trey Lance are two quarterbacks, and actually some guys who had really good potential coming out of the same draft, however, not really getting the opportunity to shine in a stable environment. I think Kevin Stefanski can do something on the team or private
I like that Trey Lance idea, but at the same time, how raw and how unproven is he? Like, I mean, they traded up in San Francisco just to get him, then they ship him out.
But that was more so due to injury, and he did not. Zach Wilson definitely more seasoned in the starting position regard. However, this is a team with 12.6 million in cap. There's not really a direction to go in. You're kind of handicapped with the contracts of Myles Garrett, who should move off. Deshaun Watson, even with the restructures, and they just have a lot of money tied up into miscellaneous positions. They have a solid defense as well, so maybe something to build on.
Okay. Anything more? We just got the Browns. Anything more for the Browns, I should say.
Seeing everything to complement Stefanski a little more. Just Josh Reynolds, maybe a wide receiver target, just by the Jaguars. I think he could provide a good complement to Cedric Tillman and Jerry.
All right, so I got some another drop of news to put on y'all. Kirk Cousins met with Arthur Blank, and the Falcons don't intend to release him. I guess they're not completely 100% sold with Michael Penix. I don't know why they would bench Kirk Cousins in the first place. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. Like maybe Raheem Morris thought that Michael Penix was in the best chance to win, but now looking back over the season, um, maybe Arthur Blank stepped in and was just like, hey, we paid this man all this money, let him start. Michael Penix is not ready.
He started the season off with some pretty solid games. worse gets the blitz, then quarterback like a Sam Darnold, you don't see much upside there. And I think going the other guy was the right choice by the coaching staff. I think the real problem lies with the defense.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I feel like that's I feel like that's a decision from the top. I feel like them not releasing Kirk Cousins is an Arthur Blank decision, overstepping Raheem Morris, and that just sounds like 50 Shades of Dan Snyder. I mean, I'm not gonna say Arthur Blank is a Dan Snyder because he's most likely not. Personally, I don't really know into his background and stuff like that, but I'm just gonna say it like this. The title looks sketch. It says Kirk Cousins met with the owner, and then now the Falcons don't intend to release him. So, what was said in that meeting? Looking at NFL.com. Let me see what I could pull up. Who the source was? Christian Gonzalez. Yeah, this is straight on NFL Network on NFL.com. So what? What Kirk?
Yeah, he was at the White House. Big fans of Trump.
Yeah, because the Eagles didn't want to go. Oh yeah. All right then. Kirk is part of the. Kirk is part of. Kirk's with the Bosa brothers. Let me guess, he's sitting down with his Christian values and his make America great again nonsense. All right, look, I'm not gonna get into politics. I'm not gonna get into politics because that's not what this channel's about. Let's just continue on with the news we got going on. Let's go ahead and hit into some Ravens. All right, the Ravens, another bird, another flock, if you will. All right, 10.54 mil in cap space. My team needs, in their opinion, are offensive tackle and kicker, depending on what Ronnie Stanley does. I feel like you cut Marcus Williams and Arthur Mollett. You know, sign Nick Folder, Austin Seibert to replace Tucker amid the allegations if they choose to go that route, depending on what the outcome is with that investigation. But I remember when we had Brandon McManus and he was accused of sexual assault, I believe, we immediately released him. So the Ravens, I mean, Tucker had a down year this last season. The allegations don't help, and then more allegations piled on top of that just do not help him in this case. If I was the Ravens, I would cut him, release him. I mean, yeah, he was the long-term kicker. He was, providing stability for years there, but it might be time to move on. The allegations might be too deep, in my opinion. I feel like you grab Cornelius Lucas or maybe even Jedrick Wills, like you were saying before on with the Browns, I believe. If they're trying to get younger at a good price, but I say Cornelius Lucas, he's a little older, but he's been proven that he can hold it down at left tackle or whatever tackle spot. I believe he can move either or. But I know he was splitting time with Brandon Coleman last year, and they were doing decent. Then he got injured, so you can get him at a good price. So I said free agents here were Deontay Johnson. I put LOL next to that because dude's a clown. Ronnie Ronnie Stanley, Patrick McCarry, and Tre'Davious White. And what you got? What you got going on for the Ravens, my dude?
Yeah, personally, I think Trey White can.
Wait, Peyton.
He sits down.
1 second. We gotta be right back. I'll tell you in a second. All right, say something. You hear?
Yo.
All right, better. Oh, yeah.
Better? Okay, for sure. Little technical difficulties, guys, but we back in action. We ready to cover some sports again.
All right. Sorry about that.
Let's
Yo.
jump right back to it. Yeah. So I was saying like Dan Skipper, solid option at left tackle for him to replace Ronnie Stanley on the cheap. Considering they might have a little bit of restructuring to do and a little more cap might come their way, they could look at more expensive options. But someone like a Matthew Judon, who had a little bit of a down year for the Falcons coming over from the Patriots, I feel like could provide some juice for them. The Ravens have a knack for finding these veterans at the edge and turning them into useful pieces for them. Tyus Bowser was really good for years when he was older. You look at someone like a Kyle Van Noy right now, who's really good with them.
Okay.
And I think Matthew Judon can follow suit there.
All right, for sure. All right, so that's the Ravens. We did the Browns. Obviously, you guys were all here for the breaking news. If you heard it already, I'm looking to see if we have anything else before we head on to our next team of interest. No, we're still looking at the same. Michael Gallup intends to come out of retirement and wants to play for an NFL team.
Yeah.
All right, then. There's one. But as far as that goes, that's it. So we also have the Steelers on the roster, and then we also have the Bengals here as well. So let's go ahead and get down to those. Let's hit Steelers first, obviously.
Yeah, Steel City.
Yeah, 63.69 mil, no jokes intended. Up in that cap room. My needs for them are wide receiver, cornerback, defensive line, running back, and quarterback. Kind of a little bit of everybody. Quarterback Justin Fields, please bring him back. We don't need unlimited Mr. Diarrhea coming back. We don't want They don't want Russell Wilson back. Bring back Fields. Bring back somebody who's younger, maybe at a better price. Sign De'Ami Brown as a wide receiver too. I feel like when given the chance to shine, De'Ami will. He's beating the Browns for a deep ball, I believe, and a couple good plays down the stretch for the Commanders. I just feel like he just wasn't used properly in the Commander system. Or a lot of people said that he didn't like he couldn't constantly get open, but I don't know. I feel like in some system he could thrive. You know, he's no Terry McLaurin, he's no A.J. Brown, but he's serviceable. I'll leave it at that. Look into perhaps Jonathan Allen, another commander, ex-commander, slated to get $18 million per year since he was just released from them. Maybe defensive lineman Bobby Brown, since he's a good run stuffer and young. Possibly get Aaron Jones here if they don't want to re-sign Najee Harris. I like them to re-sign Harris though, as he's eclipsed 1,000 yards in every season he's played so far. So my free agents for them are Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, offensive lineman Nate Herbig, and Elandon Roberts, Najee Harris, and DeMonte Casey. So.
Yep, I follow suit with that. A lot. I mean,
argue with me a little bit.
Yeah,
you do what you got.
No. I was gonna argue with you about the defensive line needs. I actually think they have a great defensive line.
Okay.
I really like the defense the Steelers have in general. I think corner is actually their weakest position now that Dante Jackson is a free agent. He just had a great year for them. Joey Porter, he's starting to get used to the NFL. However, he had I believe it was the third most penalties at corner last year. So it's hit or miss for him. So I think focusing on that, and then getting another wide receiver would definitely help. With them having a lot of cap and everything, again, I follow suit with you as far as the free agents go. DeMonte KZ, Najee Harris, Dante Jackson, Landon Roberts, and then that QB tandem, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. I think re-signing Justin Fields is the smartest thing to do, even though they leaned away from him halfway through the season. You can get him on the cheap and everything and continue to develop him. I still think he's young enough to where it's not going to put a dent in their future if they go this route. If not, Mac Jones, someone who I'm not excited about throwing out there for him.
Mac and
I
cheese.
feel like, a little mac and cheese McCorkle. He could provide a little stability in that offense. I think he doesn't provide a great ceiling, but he provides a fine-ish floor. Stephon Diggs, actually, I mean, that would be a crazy wide receiver room, him and Pickens, the divas on display.
Well, I got to say, two different. Let me go back to that Mac Jones pick a little bit. You said, a finish floor, but not a high ceiling. I mean, I get that. Two different offenses with New England and Jacksonville. I don't even think he started material second or third string at best. But at the same time, what are they going to,
It's a weak quarterback market. That I say just re-sign Justin Fields in all honesty, but if you're going bottom of the barrel, I'd go Mac Jones.
I say get Marcus Mariota over Mac Jones for sure. Look at him. I mean, we haven't re-signed him. Commanders haven't re-signed him. He's been a valuable asset, but I mean at the same time, Cliff Kingsbury's system is tailored towards a guy like a Jaden Daniels or a Marcus Mariota.
Exactly.
I'm not going to say
what we saw.
Yeah, I mean it could be like a little bit of a flash in the pan type. Whereas he couldn't perform the same with another team unless he run the same exact installation of that offense, which is not going to happen.
Yeah, and I mean he could work out for the Steelers because they are a run first team. Don't get me wrong, he could step in and provide a safe floor as well for that offense. So I don't dislike that pick at all. I think the big bucks do come at corner though. I think they really need a lockdown number one, and putting Joey Porter against these number twos would definitely help. So Tarvarius Ward is someone I would love from the Niners. He wants a change of scenery due to the passing, I believe, of his daughter, if I'm not mistaken. My apologies if I'm wrong. And then Eric Stokes, someone who had a really good rookie season on the Packers. He's been so since, but I think they can get him on a relatively team-friendly deal. So I'm in alignment with you there.
Okay. If we're all in agreement there and no objections, we may move on, I guess.
Bengals.
No marriage jokes here. All right, let's go. 51.73 million cap space. My team needs are defensive back and offensive tackle. It was kind of hard to find their team needs. I even went on Bengals Wire, and it was kind of like vague. So that's why I said defensive back. I think they re-signed BJ Hill. Maybe look into Chuma Adoga. That means got a dog in him. Chuma Adoga, or even Morgan Moses, if you're willing to get somebody a little older. Like Moses, a little bit more for the experience and talent, but age and injury history could also be a huge factor there to make them sign Chuma. So, obviously I'm not their GM. They just signed Mike Gesicki to a 3-year, $22.5 million contract extension, but didn't want to extend T. Higgins. But I'm just going to leave that one right alone, and if you want to go ahead and fume about that one, you go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and go into the free agents, in my opinion. Right tackle Trent Brown, guard tackle Cody Ford, edge Joseph Osai, defensive lineman B.J. Hill, Akeem Davis linebacker, Davis Gather, safety Von Bell, cornerback Mike Hilton, and cornerback Marco Wilson. Marco Polo.
Find him off the team. That's where you'll find him.
All right, so go ahead. You want to rave a little bit about that T Higgins and Gasicki, the what the GM's thoughts are in that mind? Like, why would you sign Gasicki to an extension, but not T Higgins? Why would you franchise him for a second year in a row? Is
Yeah,
it because he wants too much?
I don't believe he wants too much. I think T. Higgins can really be a number one in this league. Someone who's elite at the catch point, 6'4", great speed, great route running. I believe he's a top 20-ish wide receiver talent, if not better. I just think, they're trying to work on an extension with them, and that's part of the reason why Trey Hendrickson is now seeking a trade and allowed to find a suitor that will pay him a little more long term. I don't necessarily get it because my positions of need for him, I have every position on defense but linebacker as what they need. And they have a lot of holes to fill, and their on interior offensive line now is shot. And it's not many free agents they have in my mind that are key ones. I think Mike Hilton and BJ Hill highlight the group, especially on defense. Mike Hilton, great slot corner, and then BJ Hill, really good against the run.
I mean, be
But
stuffing them.
yeah, they need to be stuffing them like friggin' stuffed peppers.
Stuffed peppers,
Goodness.
stuffed chicken with that cheddar broccoli, but we're not going to go into that one.
Okay. Okay.
I like them to keep him. I really hope they do. I mean, depending on since they're throwing money at Gasicki and they franchise T Higgins, what's the bigger play here? I heard them and Jamar Chase are kind of way off in terms of a contract extension, but that's neither here nor there. Like I said, I'm not a general manager. Free agency is also only 4 days away. That's what the new league year on the 12th. Obviously next Saturday we'll get you guys up to speed on free agent moves. Maybe we can make a video during the week at some point. Maybe free agency eve later on, and we'll break down those straight plays. Make that an episode. We'll see. But as far as everything else goes, do you have anything else to say on the Bengals or any other free agents of that matter, or any of the signings that we went over today? I mean, if you don't remember them, you can just go ahead and take a look. What you think?
Yeah. I would say just for their options to help because the Bengals need a lot of help. Tevin Jenkins from the Bears at left guard, I feel like he could slot in really well, be a better protector on that left side. Drew Dahlman, a young center out of Atlanta, who is really good at adapting to zone run schemes, and the Bengals run a lot of zone runs, especially now that Chase Brown is the lead back. I feel like that could spread out their offense a little bit better. Recently released Titan Harold Landry, I feel like could fit in really well at edge if Trey Hendrickson is to get traded, because I believe the damage is done and he's going to go to a team that really needs an edge, and they're going to try to work something out. Yeah, I think they try to work out something long term with Jamar and T to make Joe Burrow happy, because that's the only semblance of identity they have in that organization at this point. And then the final ones I have here, Draymond Jones recently released, and Roy Robertson Harris just become the Seattle Seahawks on that defensive front.
All right.
So, do you have any opinions on any of the trade rumors that have been circling? Do you want to create your own? Any bold predictions you might have about what will happen, what will unfold over the next couple days?
I wouldn't mind Trey Hendrickson being a Commander. But also,
Okay.
I wouldn't mind Myles Garrett being a Commander, though. I don't know which one. I think I would want Myles Garrett just a little bit more, but at the same time, the money that they're going to command is going to be crazy. So, well, the money that he's going to command in general. So I think that if we had to go a little bit of a cheaper option, but still getting a good guy, Trey Hendrickson would be that next guy. We desperately need help on the edge. I think I was saying it, like one of our biggest weaknesses on defense for the Commanders was the fact that you can run an outside zone run and we could never contain the edge or scramble. It was really hard to keep contain.
Yeah.
Or just not getting it done. I mean, Dante Fowler did fine. Dorrance Armstrong, he did fine. Cleveland Farrell, that's why he's not re-signed. But we're not going to talk about that.
I think it's better pass rush than run stop, and you saw it with the passing numbers and the rushing numbers. You guys were actually really good against the pass,
Yeah,
respectively, with bad corners, and you guys played terrible against the run, one of the worst teams.
I think
So
it
that's
was.
something that
I think it was the worst team. But then we got to talk about pretty good against the pass, even with Michael Davis on our roster.
yeah, God, me, dude.
Oh man, I don't understand how that is. And Marshawn Lattimore getting burned a couple times. I mean, a couple
And
passes.
St.
Yeah,
Jude's, yeah.
Toasty St. Juice. I almost forgot about him. Jesus Christ. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and I cannot wait to do the NFC East as far as that goes. Just because we have a few NFC East fans we know, and obviously one of the biggest divisions in football as far as the NFC Beast. We're not gonna.
Yup.
So can't wait to do that. But next week we got the AFC South. So 2 weeks from now we'll start with the NFC East. How about that? We'll do that. Maybe we can do. Do you still? We could talk more about stuff off the stream, but as far as the rest of the stream goes, I've got nothing more to say other than maybe Trey Hendrickson beats as a commander. Miles Garrett, I think he goes to the Patriots. To be honest with you, I don't know. I like
Fair enough.
I can see him up there. Way better situation than Cleveland. If you look at it, he wants to go somewhere and win. Probably, I'm sure he doesn't want to stay in Cleveland. Obviously, he's willing to even miss games to get traded. So, I could see him being I could see him being with the Patriots. Especially getting the bag and being with the Patriots and Drake May, Mike Vrabel, McDaniels. Who's the D coordinator really up there? I don't even remember. Up in New England.
Vrabel just hired someone new. They hired a whole new staff. I forget. Let me check right now. I can tell you.
Yeah, because I know was McDaniel still the OC, right? Or he's going to be the
Yeah.
OC.
Terrell Williams. He was a former D-line coach. I forgot.
All right, for sure.
But Vrabel's probably going to be, all in that defense, play calling, whole 9 yards. So.
For sure. All right. Well, it's been the AFC North edition with JDB Sports. Do you have anything else to say or anything else you want to share with the crew?
I'll go with a bold prediction of my own.
What you got?
Aaron Rodgers will be a New York Giant by next Friday.
I've been seeing those rumors too, and obviously, the Giants have been actually pushing. They've been circling back and entertaining those rumors. So, anything can happen any given Sunday like within the NFL. Look at the same thing with Aaron Rodgers going to the Giants. That's crazy business. I did not think that Aaron Rodgers would be in the NFC East, but at the same time, staying in New York. That's ugly, man. Tommy DeVito was re-signed. What is? I really wonder what Dable is going to cook up there. Was it Kafka still the OC? But Dable's
shit.
Yeah, Dable's calling the plays still. I wonder what he's going to draw up as far as an offense for Aaron Rodgers. Maybe they go and get Devontae Adams too. I don't freaking know. Shoot, I gotta look at their cap and see what they're looking like, but I don't think they can afford Devontae Adams. But we gotta look at they gotta look at their cap and I don't know. Maybe imagine he made that a package deal and Joe Shane was just desperate enough to do it. Maybe his 5-year-old son says to get not 5-year-old son. Maybe his son says to get D Adams and Aaron Rodgers together. Should go and bring the whole crew back together and get freaking MVS and Aaron Jones and all.
Alan Lazard and oh god, dude, oh heck no.
Giants fans.
Jordy Nelson when you need him. Fuck.
Oh, shoot, bring back get Greg Jennings out of retirement.
I mean, he's playing on a broken leg. Might as well play old.
Shoot, man. Poor Giants fans. We'll get to y'all in 2 weeks. But as for right now, we'll keep you all up to date here on JDB Sports, depending on if we'll do a free agency. We'll do a free agency stream. We'll talk about that. But as for this stream, we're all done. Again, come back next Saturday. Come back next Saturday for the AFC South. The piss poor division. If you choose to miss that one, I don't blame you. That division's terrible. But we will see you guys next Saturday. JDB Sports out. Alex and Peyton. All right.
Peace.
All right, y'all.